I am so excited about this month. I know I say that every month, but we're talking about organization this month, and I have literally given over 20 bags of clothes to Goodwill. So I am excited about helping you with the tools that I have used. I'm in the work, I do the work along with you guys and to just share the impact of being organized. But the organization has to start first in your mind. So we're going to get to environment as well, but I'm going to first talk about organizing your mind. Then we're going to talk about organizing your feelings, thoughts, and actions. You may have never thought about organizing those three, but we are. And then we'll conclude with class 3 will be all about organizing your surroundings. So let's get started with class 1 for today. And it's all about organizing your mind to reduce overwhelm and create more time. Almost every client that I have talks about wanting more time or at some point talks about being overwhelmed. And so this class is going to be the solution. So the price of being unorganized, there may be some cost here that you're not aware of other than just the feeling that, it just feels like time is getting away from you. I want to just give you some concrete examples of what is the price of being unorganized. Seeking and not finding actually costs. It costs you time, energy, and attention. And these are all valuable assets that once spent, we cannot get back. Time is a one-way street. We don't get it back. And this is what you should know. When the brain has to search results that are chaotic, stress and anxiety come up in the body. Sometimes that leads to overeating, over drinking, or medicating a problem that we actually created because our mind was just not organized. And then the third reason, lack of promotion. If where you are is challenging, why would God give you more? Think about it. If you're a parent, a responsible parent would not give a child more if what the child is currently carrying is so overwhelming. And so I like to highlight that our choice to be unorganized could actually be the reason we're not moving to that next level. So, we'll be focusing on, as I just mentioned, organizing our mind and what I call our wheel of life. You may not have seen that before, depending on when you came into the Freedom Academy, to reduce overwhelm and create more time. I'm telling you, I'm excited about this because when I started implementing this consistently in my life, it literally was a game changer. I know I say that a lot, but life coaching is a game changer. That's why I love this. So the first thing I want to go over is the complete wheel of life. And we're not going to do a deep dive in this class this month about the wheel of life, but I just want to introduce it to you. And I call it the wheel of life because I love to use imagery, that from the thought tree, so that you can actually see that when life is rolling along and you feel like you're in a flow, it's because this wheel has the components that you need. And so the first is your spiritual life. Are you producing fruit aligned with God's word? Is your life drawing more people to Christ? Does your life reflect God's glory? How often are you sharing your testimony? I am unapologetic that this is faith-based coaching. And so your spiritual life matters, and the fruit that you're producing in your life matters. How you're responding to people. Is it loving? Is it fruitful? Or hateful? That's important because it affects our energy. And then it's our soul life. And we know that's our mind, our will, and our emotions. Are you spending intentional time listening to God? A lot of times when I work with clients, they're talking to God and they're praying, but they're doing all the talking. Okay. And then there isn't any intentional time to actually listen. So we have the authority to ask for the mind of Christ. Are you asking for God's mind and perspective frequently? Or are you asking God to co-sign on what you've already decided and the way you have decided and the time frame you have decided? Do you have a practice of dealing with your emotions that's God focused? And I'm going to talk about that. And again, it goes back to the fruit. So being patient. Your physical life. Do you treat your body like the temple that it is, that holds the temple that holds the Holy Spirit? Do you know your health indicators like weight, blood pressure, cholesterol, A1C? Have you had the 5 tests to determine your heart health? I have connected with a cardiologist here in Atlanta, and he says there are 5 tests that every woman should have to determine her heart health. And if you're interested in that, you can just send me something for that. I don't want to do a deep dive on that. But these are just some health indicators. Family life. In what ways do you honor your father and mother, even if they're deceased? Consider your life as a living legacy for them. Do you talk to your family while watching television, or are you on electronic devices? And do they get your full attention? Or are you divided? Even when you're with your family, you're at work. When you're at work, you're thinking about your family. When you're commuting, you're thinking about what you have to do with the laundry. Being intentional about family life means bringing all of you to your family. Are you intentional about quality time with your spouse if you have one? Children, if you have them, extended family? Do you offer a judgment free zone, or do you always have advice for everyone in your family about how they should live? These are just some things to ask yourself, because again, we're thinking about a wheel of life. Your relationship life. Are you operating with clear boundaries for what really matters? And I don't mean just intimate relationships, I mean your friendships, or even relationships with family members, cousins, siblings. Or do you say yes when you want to say no? Do you have one face or two face in your relationships? And what I mean by that, do you say one thing in front of people and then you go home, or inside you're like, oh, why did I say that? Why did I do that? Why did I agree with that? That's important to assess that, because it shows whether you are in integrity on the inside. And then finally, no, it's not finally, your purpose life. Have you sought the Lord for the purpose in this season? So often I'll get clients who are like, I don't know my purpose. Listen, life does not outlive purpose. The fact that you have life means that you still have a purpose. So God's provision is found in our obedience. So your focus on spiritual prosperity. And then the side effect of that is that all of our needs are met. So now the last one is the environmental life, the organization of your environment. Oh my gosh, it affects us mentally. So when you woke up this morning, did you wake up in an organized bedroom? When you walked into your bathroom, was everything in place? When you got dressed, was the closet organized? When you went to your kitchen, did the cabinets, when you opened the cabinet, did the Tupperware just fall out and containers fall out? When you open your pantry, is it all organized? I'm showing you how your eye gate all day long is taking in things, and then your brain is trying to process all of this. And sometimes we contribute to our overwhelm because even the way we wake up is not in an organized environment. When you get in your car, is it organized? Could I come and ride with you and you not have to apologize or give an explanation or say, hold on, Cledra, let me move some things out of the way? So we're going to definitely deal with this in this month. So our focus for this month is not going to be on the entire wheel. There's no way we can unpack that in a month. This month, we're going to specifically focus on your mind and your environment. So organizing your mind. What are you not noticing? It's the little foxes that ruin the vineyard, right? It's the little things. And I'm going to wake you up to some things that you may not be noticing. So there are two kinds of subconscious thoughts. They're the subconscious thoughts that serve us. These are efficient and repetitive. Our brain organizes these thoughts for us. It's like we don't have to think about brushing our teeth. My mom has been cleaning out her house too. She's actually doing this work as well. And I used to have this Snoopy electric toothbrush. I love that thing. It was how my parents taught me how to have 30 seconds in each quadrant of my mouth. You know how we're supposed to spend 30 seconds in each quadrant, that is 2 minutes total that you're supposed to brush your teeth. Well, I used to really have to think about that thing, and then Snoopy would like shake when it was the 30 seconds were up, and then that meant, okay, I could change quadrants. Well, I don't need Snoopy anymore. And my mom's like, I'm going to finally throw your Snoopy toothbrush away. I'm like, Mom, I definitely think it's okay to throw it away. But anyway, that's just an example. Like, our brains organize that repetitive behavior very early on, how to walk, how to sit down and get up. Those things are efficient and they're repetitive and they serve us, right? But then we also have subconscious thoughts that our brain has organized as well that don't serve us. Think of these thoughts like something stuffed in the closet or stuffed in a drawer. It's harmless, but they're continuously creating unwanted emotion in the background. So if you think about that junk drawer, if you have one, you pull it out and you're just, trying to shove around like maybe I put the flashlight or the battery in there. These are things, that's the way our mind is like that junk drawer. When we have the subconscious thoughts that don't serve us, the things in the drawer stay in the drawer and they're unorganized in a disorderly way, but they're still contained in that drawer. I hope that makes sense. And so those are the two. And then those are the two types of subconscious thoughts that serve us subconsciously and thoughts that don't. And then we have our conscious thoughts. Those are the new thoughts you choose on purpose. They're deliberate and useful, or they can be like a daydream, wishful thinking, indulgent but not useful. And the way that looks is you're always dreaming about being fit, or you're always dreaming about writing that book or starting that business or getting yourself, putting yourself online so that you could, at least have the chance to find love. But it's just a dream, and as long as it's a dream, it keeps us safe, but it's still a conscious thought. Now, the 4 steps to organizing your mind, and your workbook is going to help you with this. So for now, I just want you to listen to the class. The first thing is to become aware. Everything begins with awareness that I'm teaching you. And the second step is to ask 4 questions. And I'm going to go through those. And then the third is to say goodbye and replace goodbye to what isn't serving you. And the fourth is to create the result that God is leading you to create. We all have that knowing of like, what? It would be great if I could create this result. So step 1, becoming aware. We're going to do what's called daily thought downloads. And all that means is it's like eavesdropping on your mind, where each day you just write what you're thinking. You don't have to, editorialize it. You don't have to censor it. It's all about just getting your thoughts on paper. So you expose your thoughts by emptying your mind on your thoughts, uncensored, without judgment. I can't say this enough, without judgment. And it goes beyond think about what you're thinking about. Joyce Meyer is the first person I heard say this, think about what you're thinking about, battlefield of the mind. I enjoyed it, but then I was left frustrated. I'm like, okay, I'm thinking about what I think about, but now what do I do? And so my intention is that you know what to do when you expose those thoughts. And I'm going to take you through that. So this allows you to objectify your thoughts so that you don't just go back into that language of this is just who I am, I always do this, because you're going to become more aware of these thought patterns that aren't serving you, that run in the background, that then lead to these feelings that right now you may not even be aware that that's why you end up feeling that way habitually. And it's very important to not judge or try to fix your thoughts. It's literally just a download, okay? So remember the thought tree. Anytime you're overwhelmed with thoughts and emotions and you do a thought download, you can then simplify it and organize it quickly. And that's what we're going to talk about. I'm going to show you how to do that. So circumstances, just as a reminder, I'm going to go over like how you set up the tree. So circumstances are neutral, no drama. What I mean by drama is just this, sometimes I used to have these elaborate stories about my life, and I was always the victim. How could he do that to me? I'm such a good person. That's what I mean by drama. No emotion, no adjectives or adverbs. It's neutral, meaning I'm human. I had 2 parents. I'm alive. I'm married. I'm single. I have a house. I heard someone say something. I have a child. I had a conversation. I listened to words. You see how it's neutral. There isn't any judgment in any of this. Now that you have your thoughts out of your mind, it's time to, okay, that looks like that was out of place. So step 2 is to ask the 4 questions. Take each thought and apply these 4 questions. Is this thought serving me? Do I really want it? Is it current or outdated? Do you hear my dog shaking himself? Do I want to keep this thought or replace it? Those are the 4 questions to ask yourself. So here's an example that I want to give you from a client, and I've changed the name and some of the details, but I hope that this will really help you. So this is an example. Jennifer's mother-in-law calls and talks about her day and how challenging it was, and never asked Jennifer about her day or how she's doing. Jennifer then thinks her mother-in-law is self-absorbed and doesn't care about anyone other than herself. Now, Jennifer is not asking the 3 questions about her mother-in-law's behavior. She's asking 4 questions about her thought. The reason I say this part right here, I want you to really get that these 4 questions you're asking about your behavior, not another person's behavior. So she's asking 4 questions about her thoughts. Her thoughts right here, that her mother-in-law is self-absorbed and she doesn't care about anyone other than herself. Those are her thoughts. Now, this is very important. This isn't about whether it's right or wrong. It's about the 4 questions I just taught you. Does that thought serve you? This is what I asked Jennifer. Does that thought serve you? Do you really want that thought? Is the thought current or outdated? And do I want to keep this thought or replace it? And I want to keep going with this so you can really see the impact. Back up a little bit. Jennifer came to me because she couldn't figure out why she couldn't lose weight. She thought it was because she's going through menopause and eating too many carbs. So she had tried so many programs, the smoothie, the paleo, the keto. She tried so much stuff. So as I do with all of my private clients, I require 3 months minimum so we could do life together. So I was able to point out to Jennifer that every time her mother-in-law called or when she was around, she would overeat. And I was able to show her that without her mother-in-law changing, she could create the results she wanted in her health by examining her thoughts. So I wanted to show you how I was able to connect the dots for Jennifer. And my prayer is show you how you can connect the dots in your life with something that you may not realize is having a negative impact on your results. So I asked Jennifer, does thinking your mother-in-law is selfish and doesn't care about you serve you? Then Jennifer could connect the dots that even though she felt it was true, again, this isn't a moral judgment about whether it's true, that thought made her experience anger in her body. And then the feeling of anger led her to forgetting her health goals. And instead, she would comfort herself with some ice cream because she didn't want to be angry. She wanted to calm down. So she's like, I need some comfort. And then I said, do you really want that thought? And Jennifer was like, listen, considering that thought is leading me to overeat, then no, I don't want it. She was like, she's already hurting my feelings, which that's another issue we had to deal with. But I showed her, I said, but then do you see how you then are hurting your feelings by not being in integrity or keeping to your goals? And then I asked her the third question, is the thought current or outdated? Jennifer shared she has had that thought since she had her first child and he's 20. She went on to say her mother-in-law has always been that way, even to her children, and she had a real light bulb moment when she realized how much of her power she was giving away. Bottom line, it was an outdated thought. She had had it for 20 years, and it wasn't serving her because it made her angry. And I asked her, do you want to keep it or replace it? Because again, this isn't about me telling you guys what you should do. It's about me waking you up to the awareness of how your thinking may or may not be getting you the results you want. So Jennifer wanted us to work on trying on new thoughts about her mother-in-law. And as a result, by the holidays, she had lost 20 pounds. She had no idea the impact of examining her thoughts had on her weight. She was able to pinpoint even more situations where her thinking led to her overeating to comfort herself emotionally. So that was just an example that I wanted to, a real life example that I wanted to give you. And you can watch this again and you can, have your workbook out. But so far, just to summarize, you have learned 3 major steps to organizing your mind. First, I've taught you how to identify a circumstance that is neutral. It doesn't have any judgment in it. It's just a fact. I've taught you how to do a thought download. That's just eavesdropping on your mind. You just put your thoughts on paper. And then I've taught you how to examine each thought you've downloaded objectively. I took you through the example with Jennifer that she downloaded a thought, okay, my mother-in-law is self-absorbed. She's selfish. And I was able to show her using the tree how that thought was leading to her continuing to be overweight and how, whether it was true or not, it wasn't a thought that actually served her. And so we tried on different thoughts, like my mother-in-law is who she is, or I know how to take care of myself when my mother-in-law calls, right? So next week, we will learn how to organize your feelings, actions, and results. I like to make these classes short and sweet so that you can do the work and you can have some time to actually practice, and then we will integrate part two in a week. All right. I am so excited about what's going to come up for you, and so excited to get your questions when we have our time together. So I will talk to you soon. Enjoy the rest of this new day, and I cannot wait to see you practice, see your hear to hear about your practice with organizing your mind. All right, talk to you soon. Bye.